the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs. I think he's spent. And MC Light, both of you, thank you. Because they both have the light off on the mic, you know you're all here to listen to the new edition. Mike Bivins, 40 years producing music that lifts our souls.
LJ Cool J. We'll get back to that in a second. A lot of people are upset that Joe Biden referred to LL Cool J as a boy. As you can hear, he corrected himself on the spot. You know why Joe Biden corrected himself? Because he's 137 years old. He fully understands the word boy in the racial context around a white man referring to a black man as boy. See, boy is absolutely a white racist word when used in a certain context. And I know that because I'm from South Carolina, dropping the clues bombs from South Carolina. And because I was raised watching Good Times, okay? And a young scholar by the name of Michael Evans broke that down to us. Why boy is a white racist word, if I'm not mistaken. It was season 1, episode 9. You remember this, right?
Boy is a white racist word.
That's all you needed to hear, okay? Once you knew that, you understood that boy was a white racist word. When the word boy is referred, when somebody uses the word boy to refer to an adult black man and the speaker is white, that takes on a whole...
You know what, Charlemagne, we got to be honest, man. Stop lying. You know, again, I'm a little bit older than you are, not much, but a little bit. And I, too, have been in the South my entire life, between South Carolina and Georgia, my entire life, pretty much. And we had to be honest, man. The people that use the term boy are black, for the most part. Again, I'm not saying at some point in time in history, you know, again, white men, you know, use that term in a way to put down black people, put down black men. But again, that's not being used now. Not at all. People don't say that. They definitely don't, because again, nobody wants to be seen as racist. And again, even in the last few decades, man, when I was in high school 30 years ago, they don't use that term. People don't use that term. But again, you hear young black men all the damn time refer to somebody, you know, 20, 30 years older as a white boy. All the damn time. And again, you hear younger black women calling 50, 60-year-old white men white boys. And again, we truly have got to understand that is really kind of what the norm is now. It's not the other way around. So again, and they use it in a way to be mean. It's a derogatory term that they use toward white men as a way to put them down. That is what they're doing. So again, that's the other way around for the majority of it. I would say 95, to 98% of it is the other way around. I don't think I've ever heard that. Except for on TV or something where they try to make it sound a certain way. I don't think I've ever really heard that said, in the course of my life. I don't think I've ever heard that said at all. And again, I grew up in the South. I grew up between Atlanta, Georgia, and South Carolina my entire life. But again, I don't think I've ever heard that said. I really don't. Again, man, maybe once or twice, but I can't think of anything. Again, I saw it on TV, not in real life. But again, in real life, I don't know how many times I heard white boy being used as a way to talk about older white men. But again, that's a derogatory term that's allowed to be used. And that's a racist term. But again, that's okay. That's okay. Because again, they're just white. They're just white. They don't deserve respect. They don't deserve respect because again, they've oppressed us for so long. You know what, guys, man? In no way am I taking it for Joe Biden. In no way. I believe that Joe Biden probably has some racist tendencies. Probably does. But again, I'm not taking it for him. And he and I are opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to political ideology. We do. But again, we have truly got to be honest. This guy in this situation, I don't believe he was trying to be racist one single bit. I believe that he was trying to be jokey and he was trying to talk about the guy's muscles and everything else and just be jokey. And but again, if you say one thing out of place now with, you know, the other way around, if a white person says one thing out of place, people, they lose their damn shit.
Quickly, before I move on, 62% of voters don't approve of how Biden is handling immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border, and then 30% approve of the economy. 64% disapprove. So his numbers, they're really in the tank right now. But I do want to get to this topic. I'm going to ask Darnisha and Chris to respond to this, since, Jason, you already kind of hit on that. But President Biden, he is getting a lot of heat after this awkward moment with rapper LL Cool J. Listen.
Two of the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs.
Darnisha, really quickly, was this offensive to you?
Absolutely. I mean, it's 2023. It's very unacceptable to speak and use that language. I'm referring to my community. He should know better by now. So I was really upset about that.
And then, Chris, what did you make of those comments?
Yeah, I just feel like this is just like another example of, you know, how Biden truly feels about the black community. You know, this isn't the first time he referred to a black man as a boy. It's most likely not going to be the last one. And it kind of goes back to the whole, if you don't vote for me, you know, you're black. He has this like, you're not black, excuse me. He has this like, you know, slave master mentality. I feel like he doesn't really care what he says because he knows the majority of black people are still going to vote for him. I mean, even I was foolish enough to do so back then. But
again, guys, we've got to remember that nowadays context still matters. It does. You know, we have gotten away from that as a society. We have gotten away from the idea that the context matters, but it does. It truly does. And again, in no way do I agree with pretty much anything Joe Biden does. In no way. But I don't believe this was meant in any way racist. I don't. We have truly got to be honest about that. It's not about racism. This isn't about racism. It's because, again, some people got offended because he used a word and they heard what they wanted to hear. That truly is what happened. And we have got to be honest about that. And nowadays, again, somebody to hear a word that triggers them and to make them believe that, oh, somebody's racist or sexist or transphobic or homophobic or whatever, then they use that word. Again, or they use something out of place, or they mess up their words. They say colored people instead of people of color. You know, we have truly got to recognize, man, again, context matters. What somebody intended, that matters. And again, in no way do I believe that Joe Biden, again, I can't read his mind, but I don't believe in any way that Joe Biden meant anything at all by this. I truly don't. We've got to remember that's an 80-year-old man with dementia. There's something going on there. And again, he said boy, and he quickly corrected that to man. We have to understand it's more about the people that are triggered. It's more about the snowflakes that are triggered instead of the people that, you know, the actual intention behind something, what they meant by it. And again, we truly got to understand that is what is wrong with people nowadays. Again, they want to read something. They want to read into something when there's nothing there. But again, when there is something there, they don't read into it. They don't want to read into it. They don't want to see the truth. They don't want to see something that really clearly is there. They don't want to because they're scared of it. But again, when something like this happens, they'll read all day long into this because, again, we truly got to understand that's popular. That's okay. You know, again, if some 25-year-old black rapper, you know, calls some, you know, 50-year-old white man a white boy, and nobody bats a damn eye. But again, you can have some 80-year-old man with dementia accidentally misspeak and call somebody a boy and then quickly correct it. But again, he's horrible. That's horrible. That's racist. We have truly got to understand people, they got to grow the hell up. They do. They got to stop getting offended over every damn thing because, again, nothing was meant by it. And again, I don't like Joe Biden politically at all. And again, I believe Joe Biden's a creep. I do. But I don't believe he meant anything at all by this. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think. You son of a.